Clear thinking sounds easy, and most people believe they already do it. Richard Feynman warned that this feeling is often false. The mind feels certain long before it checks facts. You see this in daily life. An idea appears, it feels right, and thinking stops. The brain likes this moment because it feels settled. This does not mean you are careless or unintelligent. It happens to trained people too. The brain wants comfort, and accuracy takes effort. So the mind creates fast explanations and accepts them without testing. Feynman spent his career pointing out this habit. He showed that the first answer in your head is usually not examined. It feels complete, so it escapes review. Clear thinking begins when you stop trusting the first answer just because it feels right. The brain's first answer often feels right, but is not checked against reality. The brain produces certainty very easily. That feeling feels strong, calm, and final. But certainty is not knowledge. Feynman explained this again and again. You can feel sure and still be wrong. The feeling of knowing is only a signal inside the mind. It is not proof. Once you feel sure, you stop thinking. This saves energy, and the brain likes saving energy. So it rewards certainty even when it is based on weak ideas. This is why false ideas can feel solid for years. Knowing the name of something feels like understanding it, but naming is not explaining. You may recognize a term and still not know how the thing works. Feynman said this mistake is very common in science and education. Clear thinking means separating how sure you feel from what you can explain or test. Confidence is a feeling, not evidence of understanding. The brain likes clean stories. It wants clear causes and clear results. Random events feel uncomfortable, so the mind fills gaps. It creates simple links even when none exist. These stories are easy to remember, spread quickly, and feel complete. Feynman warned that nature does not care about our need for order. Real systems are messy, and many effects have many causes. When you force a neat story onto a complex system, you lose accuracy. The brain prefers a wrong story to no story at all. A bad explanation feels better than admitting you do not know. This habit creates false understanding. Clear thinking means allowing incomplete answers. It means waiting before closing the story, and accepting that some things take time to understand. This feels harder at first, but it keeps your thinking close to reality. The brain chooses simple stories even when reality is complex. Using a word can feel like understanding a thing. Feynman pointed out that words are only labels. They name ideas but do not explain them. When you hear a term, the brain relaxes and feels like the work is done, but nothing has been explained yet. Saying a process has a name does not show how it works. Many people repeat terms they cannot explain in plain language. This habit hides weak thinking. The brain uses words as shortcuts. Once a label exists, deeper thinking stops. The explanation feels finished even when it is empty. Feynman insisted on simple explanations. If you cannot explain an idea using common words, you do not understand it well. Clear language exposes gaps in thinking. This is uncomfortable, but it is honest. Clear thinking replaces labels with clear steps and clear meaning. Words can hide ignorance when they replace real explanation. Memory feels reliable and stable, but it is not fixed. The brain does not store memories like a recording. Each time you remember something, the brain rebuilds it. Details shift, gaps are filled, and the story feels smooth even when it is wrong. Feynman warned against trusting memory alone. The mind edits the past to fit the present. Current beliefs shape what you recall, and this creates false confidence. You remember being right more often than you were. You forget uncertainty and errors. The memory feels clean because the brain prefers clean stories. Clear thinking depends on external records like notes, data, and written checks. These reduce. The influence of memory changes. Feynman relied on written work and testing, not recall. He knew memory feels strong even when it drifts. Trusting memory without checks leads to false certainty. Memory feels solid but changes each time it is used. Once a belief forms, the brain guards it. Evidence that agrees feels good and is noticed and remembered. Evidence that disagrees feels uncomfortable and is ignored or explained away. This happens quietly and automatically. Feynman called this self-deception. The mind becomes a defender instead of an examiner. It works to protect ideas instead of testing them. This slows learning, errors last longer, and growth stops. The belief feels stronger with time even when it is wrong. Clear thinkers do the opposite. They look for ways they could be wrong. They test weak points and welcome correction. This does not mean doubting everything. It means holding ideas lightly until they survive testing. It means letting evidence lead. Feynman believed honesty with yourself matters more than being right. You cannot correct what you refuse to examine. Thinking improves when defense stops, and testing begins. Protecting beliefs prevents correction and growth. Education can help thinking, but it can also harm it. Feynman criticized learning that rewards memorization without explanation. This creates people who sound informed but cannot reason clearly. Facts are stored, but understanding is missing. The brain confuses stored information with insight. You recognize terms and recall formulas, and this feels like knowledge, but it may not help you solve new problems. Authority also plays a role. When information comes from trusted sources, the brain checks less. Confidence rises faster than understanding. Feynman believed real learning requires explanation and testing. You must know why something works, not just that it works. You must connect ideas, not repeat them. Education should train thinking, not just memory. Without this, confidence grows faster than clarity. Strong opinions built on weak understanding are common results. Learning improves when explanation replaces repetition. Information without understanding creates false confidence. Deep thinking takes effort, and the brain avoids effort when it can. To save energy, the mind uses shortcuts. These shortcuts work often enough to feel safe, so they become habits. Most daily thinking runs on them. Feynman explained that many errors come from skipped checks, not from lack of skill. People stop early and accept answers too soon. Careful thinking feels slow and uncomfortable. It demands attention, and the brain resists this because it costs energy. Speed feels productive, but speed often hides mistakes. Accuracy requires deliberate effort and slowing down when needed. Clear thinking is not about thinking harder all the time. It is about knowing when shortcuts fail and effort is required. Feynman believed careful checking mattered more than clever ideas. Simple checks prevent large errors. Effort is the price of accuracy. The brain avoids effort even when accuracy matters. Feynman said that reality is the final judge of ideas. An explanation can sound perfect and feel logical and clean, but none of that matters if it does not match results. Reality does not care how convincing an idea feels. The brain prefers internal logic and enjoys neat reasoning. This creates elegant ideas that fail in practice. Testing forces the mind to face limits. Feynman trusted experiments and outcomes. He believed that checking ideas against the world is the only reliable method. Words and logic must bow to results. This applies outside science too. Predictions, plans, and beliefs all need testing. Without it, thinking drifts away from truth. Clear thinking always returns to what can be observed and measured. When results disagree, the idea must change. This rule is strict but fair. It protects against self-deception. Reality corrects what confidence cannot. Ideas are only valid if they agree with reality. If you understand something, you can explain it simply. Feynman used this rule constantly. He tested his ideas by explaining them. In basic words, if clarity failed, understanding was missing. Simple explanations remove hiding places. They expose gaps and weak links. Complex language often hides confusion, while simple language reveals it. Teaching an idea forces structure and order. You must know each step, and this process improves thinking even when no one else is listening. The goal is not sounding smart. The goal is being clear. Clarity survives pressure, and confusion does not. Feynman valued simple explanations because nature itself is simple at its core. Complexity often comes from misunderstanding. When language becomes basic and direct, thinking becomes honest. Clear explanations reflect real understanding. Simplicity is a test of real understanding. Clear thinking is not a talent. It is a habit. Feynman emphasized honesty with yourself above all else. This means admitting uncertainty, checking assumptions, and accepting correction without defense. The brain resists this practice because it prefers comfort and certainty. But habits can change, and with practice, checking becomes natural. You begin to notice when confidence appears too quickly. You pause and ask what supports the idea. You look for evidence and allow delay. This practice does not remove mistakes, but it reduces their size and duration. Errors are corrected faster, and learning speeds up. Clear thinking grows from steady effort, not sudden insight. It improves through repetition and patience. Feynman believed progress comes from facing limits honestly, pretending to know blocks. Growth. Thinking improves when honesty replaces certainty. This habit can be trained every day. Honest thinking is a daily discipline, not a natural skill.